Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another Core Racing League's Premier Series here on this beautiful Sunday night. These guys are qualifying as of right now. We're about 4 minutes into the qualifying session. It is 10 minutes to qualify as these guys get ready to rip these Pro 2s around Bark River here tonight for the start of playoff round number 2. Already got a few guys out there in chat like Mr. Barry Kistler. Giving a big shout out to these guys ready to go racing as he's always here with us watching. As Barry Kistler's always out there in chat every single week rooting on whoever it is that is out there racing that particular week. Without further ado, I am Dylan McDonald here on the CRN network, Core Racing Network, bringing you the live coverage of round number 2, race number 1 at Bark River. Next week, we will have a lot of different stuff going on. I believe it is the Silver Crowns at Homestead, and then we go to my track that I ended up picking in the car track combo that I ended up picking for these guys to race, which be Monza left turning only in the 87 car, so you definitely don't want to miss the next 2 weeks. And then we go to championship round, where that will decide who wins the championship of Premier Series season number 8. I almost said 7. That would have been a little bit bad. Well, here we are. We have Bark River. It is in Michigan. 70 degrees, 81-degree track temp. Even though it is dirt, so I don't think track temp could really matter, I guess. You could say partly cloudy, 2-mile-an-hour wind, so you're definitely going to see these trucks get a little bit sideways as they get ready to go through these jumpy sections. As of right now, I'll show you guys the track map here, get it pulled up so that way you guys can see exactly how this track rolls out, because I have never ran a single lap here on Bark River or anything like that, and it looks like the track map is not going to show up for qualifying, so we're going to have to wait till qualifying is done. They got about 4 minutes left into qualifying. We're going to take a look here and see exactly who posted fast time so far, and that is going to be Christopher Hamilton. He's going to be our top dog for tonight. But it looks like everybody else has done their little bit of qualifying. And while we're waiting here, letting this time roll down, we got the man, the myth, Mr. PB, and that number 77 machine. Paul, this is Dylan in the booth. Got a copy.
Yeah, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Daylight savings time is, biting me in the rear. I thought it was a little bit later than it actually is. So got to get used to that, spending almost half the year with it being nice and light out by the time, I'm getting ready to do a Premier Series race to now being dark and wanting to go to bed. But, it is what
Yeah,
it is.
I hear that. Yeah, I was a little messed up this morning too, so
yeah, it,
felt like I slept longer, but then the rest of the day took longer, so it
yeah, I mean,
happens.
exactly. It does happen, but kind of walk us through how you plan on your night going here tonight. I mean, I know you're not really a fan of the jumpy trucks or dirt
Mm-mm.
for that matter. So, I mean, are you just looking for a good, solid finish here tonight, or are you just letting the win go whichever way it wants?
Well, I'd love a top five. I think I'm capable of top five, but I don't think I've ever had one of these races in this Bojangles truck that I haven't ended up on my roof. So I pretty much am banking on one of these guys flipping me over. Um, but we'll see how it goes.
Oh yeah, I mean it could go one of two ways. I mean, I know in season 4 when we ran the, I believe it was like the Pro 4s or maybe even the Pro 2 lights at Sonoma uphill climb.
Oh, I like that one.
I didn't even get a whole lap in, and me, you, and Eric, we practiced pretty much every single day. We felt the most confident than probably anybody in that race, and then I just hit that core motto: sucks to suck, and get
Yeah,
flipped over right before I even get to hit the tarmac.
yeah, the very last lap of that race, coming to the last lap, the jump right before you get to the finish line, I flipped my truck over right before the last lap there, so
Ooh.
in that race. But yeah, we were ready, and
Yeah, I
No
mean,
matter how ready you are, if this truck wants to take a turn for the worse, it will.
yeah, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you were actually one of the final four, as I wanted in on a wild card. And then I believe you were the final four. It was me, you, Willie, Carl, and Nick Nickerson.
I believe so. I believe so.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've been in the final championship race, all but I think just the season before last.
Yeah, see,
This season here, I'm trying for the wild card. I guess I got eliminated last week, and so yeah, we'll see what happens.
yeah, you may get eliminated, but you're never out until you're out. I mean, it's just like me. Season four, I got eliminated, was able to get the wild card, ended up racing, for a championship at Dover. Did not end well for myself, but that's just racing in general. These guys are pretty quick. You're pretty quick yourself. You know, you sit P5 is is that something that you're looking to be proud of, or are you wanting to be a little bit higher up in the field?
I'm good with five, honestly. I know Aaron, he touched the wall coming out of the last turn, so he's way in the back right now. He's gonna find his way up there quickly. Um, yeah, there's a lot of fast guys. Everybody in here is pretty quick in this one, so if I can get a top five, I'll be happy with that.
All right, Paul. Well, we're going to send you back up there with everybody else, and hopefully we'll be talking to you at the end of the race.
All right, Dylan, I appreciate it, buddy.
Yes, sir. All right, that was Paul Butler coming out here tonight, being our in-race reporter. Only going to be one heat here tonight. Carl Handwick and Christopher Hamilton are going to start your front row. Then you got Thaddeus Marshall and John Nobinger. As I'll bring up these qualifying results for you guys really quick. Don't want that stuff. No points. All right, so we got Christopher Hamilton, Carl Hannework, your front row. Thaddeus Marshall and John Nobinger, third and fourth. Paul Butler in fifth. Brandon Mettler in sixth. Jimmy Covert in seventh. Kevin Hollywood Foster in eighth. John Crane in ninth. And rounding out your top 10 with no time is the number 70 of Aaron Smith. He is the man to beat as of right now, as he has locked himself here into the next round. Well, this round, Thaddeus Marshall was able to lock himself into this round as well. So we have to go to see what these guys can do, as I'm getting all these relays brought back up for you guys. Go ahead, bring up the track map if it shows. Not going to be able to have a track map for you guys here in the first heat, but it is a 4-lap dash, pretty much. Everybody's going to make the transfer in the feature. And this is going to be one bumpy ride, as you see there. Everybody's kind of going. And green flag is out. Christopher Hamilton on the left side of Carl Handwork. He's going to take it up over the hill. Going to do a little bit of a slide job. Get past Carl Handwork into the whoop section here. You see how quickly these trucks can get up and going. I'm going to go back here in the back with the big red machine as they are 3 wide, the 8, the 14, and the 15. All nose to tail along with the number 11 of John Crane as they're doing battle here. They were 4 wide there for a quick second as Aaron Smith is still trapped behind everybody. Still wondering if he can get through, as he has finally made it around the number 15 of Brandon Mettler. Actually, no, he is not, as he is still side by side with the fellow Indiana guy, as Kevin Foster is now side by side with Aaron Smith. Aaron's kind of hugging that inside here at Bark River. They're still 2 wide. Oh, John Crane hits the wall and goes tumbling, as it's not going to warrant a caution, but it is duly noted to want to kind of go back and pause it really quick, catch the incident here on the number 11 car. Go ahead and rewind it just a little bit for you guys. Hit it with the far chase so you guys can see exactly what I seen. And he just got a little bit too wide and ended up clipping that tire and the wall. And Aaron Smith goes underneath of John Crane. If that's not a Fast and Furious move, I don't know what is. And that's, it's not the greatest that you really want to see. But, I mean, everything does happen. It is a part of racing. As Kevin Foster is back there in P number 9. Paul Butler still in P number 5 as Aaron Smith is up 4 positions from where he started, as he's going to try to make his way around Paul Butler. But up here in the front, Christopher Hamilton has opened up a little bit of a gap, 2.2 seconds on that number 18 of Carl Handwerk. Chris Hamilton did pick this track in a truck combo here tonight, so he knows something a little bit that other people don't, as he is showing his speed and his talent here, as we are on lap 3 out of 4 for this first heat race. The first and only heat race, I should say. And Christopher Hamilton doing what he does best, out front and showing absolute dominance. Back here in P number 3, though, Thaddeus Marshall is doing battle with John Nobinger, as those two are the guys that ended up winning last round. Thaddeus Marshall getting the win at I-55 in the Pro Late Models. John Nobinger getting the win in the Pro Mazdas at Road Atlanta, or Road America. And then you had, believe it was, can't remember who got the win at Lanier. But John Nobinger goes in for a big slide. He's just going to take it to the inside, or the infield. Going to check out the corn dogs and corn on a cob on a stick, as he's going to drop back just a little bit. Thaddeus Marshall holding on to P number 3. But right behind him, the man on the mission, up 6 positions, is at number 70 of Aaron Smith. And, he started dead last, and on lap number 3 out of 4, he is all the way up to P number 4, as Chris Hamilton comes around to take the final lap. And you see just how much these cars are a little bit sideways, pretty much the whole track. And, that's something with these Pro 2s, or even the Pro 4s, or even the Pro 2 lights. They're always going to be sideways, they're always going to be in the air, and they're always going to be jumping and bouncing everywhere that they possibly can. These trucks are a blast on ovals, dirt ovals. I know in a couple of series past we did do, I believe it was the Pro 4s at Bristol Dirt, the regular Bristol. I mean, they're just a blast to drive no matter where you take them. It's just something different to get you out of your comfort zone. And, it's just something cool to watch and see, as Barry Kistler out there in chat saying, gotta go with Chris Hamilton tonight, as, he's been pretty dominant here in the Premier Series when he needs to be. And like Chris does say, you don't win your championship on bad nights. And Chris Hamilton is on a dire need of needing to finish good, as next week he got Silver Crowns at Homestead, and then right after that we have a plate track feel, as the 87 cars go to Monza, left turning only. And if there's anybody out there that does not like plate track style racing, it will be the number 64 of Chris Hamilton, as Chris Hamilton was able to get the win here for heat number 1. Carl Handwerk finishes P number 2. Thaddeus Marshall in 3rd. Aaron Smith up to 4th. Paul Butler in 5th. John Nobinger in 6th. Jimmy Covert in 7th. John Crane in 8th. Brandon Mettler in 9th. And Kevin Foster is going to round out your 10-car field. So here we go. This is the feature event. All cars did make it to the feature, so that's something that you don't really have to worry about here, as I'm going to try and reload the not trading paints, but I'm going to try and reload this stuff for you guys. See if we can't just get the track map up here, and we cannot. Not able to look at the track map. as Chris Hamilton is going to be P number 1, Carl Handwerk in second. Get a better view of these cars. I did not have time to set up any cameras, so just going with a whim here. As Paytruck's going to lead these guys off into the turn number 1. As Chris Hamilton is on the right side of Carl Handwerk. And you just seen how good, how much of a better jump that Chris Hamilton did get over Carl Handwerk. Able to stretch that lead out to a little bit over 2 seconds. But now he's got Aaron Smith in P number 4. So that's going to be something, that's going to be a tough task for Chris Hamilton. We know how fast Aaron Smith is, and we know how fast Chris Hamilton is. 2 of the favorites here tonight. Also, guys, if you are out there watching, don't make sure you guys leave a like on the video, share, subscribe, as we are almost close to our goal of 300 subscribers. As we are wanting to hit 300 by the end of the year, and we're at 275. So if you guys would like to leave a thumbs up on the video, comment who you like to see, as these guys are getting ready to go green, going to come out of this little bit of a whoop section here, and you can just see how bumpy it's going to be. A lot of these guys are going to be 2, 3 wide, even possibly 4 wide. Going to go back uphill. Green flag is out, and look at that. John Obinger going to jump the truck just a little bit, give you a good bird's eye view here. Going up and down the hill, everybody kind of single file for the most part. Aaron Smith trying to get to the inside of Thad Marshall. Chris Hamilton got pressure from Carl Handwerk. Carl Handwerk's going to bounce it to the outside of Chris Hamilton. Not going to have the power down to get a good enough run. But here comes Thaddeus Marshall in the number 87. As he is starting to pull away from Aaron Smith. And Carl Handwerk almost ended up putting that shiny side down and the tires upright. As now Carl Handwerk has lost that position to Thaddeus Marshall and is now about to lose 3rd place to the yellow banana of Aaron Smith. He's able to get the power down just a little bit more, and Aaron Smith is not able to grab that position. Back here in the back, though, I did happen to see Jimmy Covert out there racing that squirt number 14, as right in front of him, John Obinger. Oh, as I just clicked off, it looked like Jimmy Covert and Kevin Foster got tangled there just a little bit. And Kevin Foster is up 3 positions from where he finished or started. So Kevin Foster is on the move. Thaddeus Marshall is up 1 position. Aaron Smith still sitting in P number 4 as Carl Handwerk almost flips it going up the uphill section there. Paul Butler with a strong run here tonight, trying to get that wild card that he was saying in his interview before we started the heat. And, you know, you're never out until you're out. As, you know, Paul Butler wants to maintain that points gap that he does have and see if he just can't get in on that wild card, as he just got passed by the number 44 of John Obinger. And that was a clean and clear pass by the number 44. Now the 44 is going to start challenging the number 18. He's going to go to the inside of the number 18 of Carl Handwerk and move Carl Handwerk back down to P number 5 and put that 44. Oh, the 44 almost gets spun by the number 18. Able to save it. Here comes Paul Butler down to his inside, as it is a dog-eat-dog world out here, as there's 12 laps for this feature. It may not look like a lot of laps, but by how big this track is, it's going to seem like it's going to be a longer race, as Carl Handwerk still runs P number 4. He started P2, dropped 2 positions from the start, and you look how much he's throwing that truck sideways, trying to get it to bite while it's in the air. So when he lands, he can just set up for that corner right away. And that's going to help him pull away from John Obinger and then Paul Butler. So right now it is Carl Handwerk sitting in P number 4, but up front, Chris Hamilton has ran the fastest lap of the race, a 1:16.67. He's pretty much a second quicker than the rest of the field. And Chris Hamilton is just trying to get that early win to lock him into the championship 4. Just that way he's got a little bit of a breathing room here. As it looks like Thad Marshall is actually keeping Chris Hamilton honest here. When he had Carl Hanover behind him in that heat race, Chris Hamilton was able to pull away to a 2-second lead right off the jump. But it looks like Thaddeus Marshall is able to stay with Chris Hamilton here, only keeping him to about a minute or a second and a half gap, as Chris Hamilton is still trying to find his legs, I guess you could say. He's got a big bobble there. You've seen him turn the wheel left, but was not turning as those front tires got up off the ground, and he was not able to get it turned. As we are coming up on the halfway point here. Make sure you guys watch tomorrow night as we have the GT League going on. Tuesday night we got Arco with myself, and Abhi Vishwavasan is going to jump in the booth with me as Ricky goes to Vegas for work. And then Wednesday night there is no broadcast as of right now. And then Thursday we got one of the tracks that I'm not really looking forward to, but I am, in the 87s as they get ready to tackle, I believe it is Pocono. And then Sunday, I'm back here in the booth with you guys for round 2, race 2 of the Premier Series playoffs. Back here in the back, though, Kevin Foster is up 3 positions, has caught the number 77, and there it is. Aaron Smith has set the fastest lap with a 1:16.443. So Aaron Smith is the fastest guy out there on track. Still running P number 3, but not able to close up the gap to Thad, as he is a little over 2 seconds behind him. All this race is going to be about is being very consistent and not messing up more than the guy behind you. As Jimmy Covert back here running in P number 8. Rooting for you, Jimmy. We see you up there running, keeping it all clean and green, as these guys are coming around to take lap number 6. As you see there, Jimmy just waved to Chris as he went by and said, "Hi, bye, see you later." As right behind him, you got Brandon Mettler going through that same corner. Then you got John Crane. He's got a little bit of damage. He's missing a whole fender. Looking like the actual Gravedigger out there. As Gravedigger likes throwing body panels all over the track as he's racing or doing a little bit of a freestyle event. Back up here, let's look at the number 44 of John Nobinger, as he has gotten past Carl and not able to get back to him after that little bit of a scuffle with the number 18. As these guys are still battling pretty hard. As, it's definitely going to be a good battle here for us tonight, as, anything can happen. There could be a quick yellow, but with these guys being as spread out as they already are, I don't see that happening. They might do this like a regular road course where, you get 2 cautions, bunch everybody back up, but once you get that second caution, there are no more cautions. So maybe these guys are playing a little bit of a strategy, or maybe they just plan on going green the whole rest of the way. As, we are halfway through this race, and it's still Christopher Hamilton up front, Thaddeus Marshall in P number 2, and then in third you still have Aaron Smith. So the top 3 have not really changed a lot, as these guys are still trying. I mean, just looking at John Crate or John Nobinger, he's still trying to get the hang of this truck car combo. But he is running P number 5, as he found out real quick that you don't really want to be turning in midair, because when you land, it's going to throw your truck into a wishy-washy situation. As he has gotten through this corner pretty well all night. It's just, for me, it's the jumps. I can't really I'm not really a fan of the big jumps. I'd rather keep my car on all fours down on the ground. But not for Christopher Hamilton. He has opened up a almost 2-second lead over the number 87 of Thad Marshall. And then right behind Thad Marshall, a big gap between Thad Marshall and Chris Hamilton. Or Thad Marshall and Aaron Smith. Not sure exactly what happened to the number 70 machine. But now he's under fire from the number 18. And I really wish I had a track map so you guys could see what I see out here. As trying to keep up with these guys is a little bit harder to do. As it looks like Aaron Smith crashed. We're actually going to take a look back here. See what happened to the number 70 machine. Oh, he was spun it around, was able to keep it all the way down, didn't flip the truck. But, I mean, that's just how quick things can change here. You know, you go through a section that you're not really familiar with, and it could inevitably kind of throw your whole race and your rhythm off. And you've seen just there what happened to Aaron Smith. You know, he just tried to get a little bit too much. Now we're in the same section where he just looped it at. We're going to see how straight he keeps it. And, you know, now that he's gotten that monkey off of his back, he can continue to race. As he is now starting to pull away from the number 18 of Carl Handework. So Aaron Smith running P number 3, keeping that tight line going as he is trying his hardest to pull away from the number 18. We'll go ahead and we'll ride around with Chris Hamilton. We'll go into a cockpit view and see exactly what you see. And, you know, if I had a tear-off button, I wish I did. I'd tell Chris to hurry up and pull the tear off so the broadcast crew can see exactly what you're working with as it goes into the uphill right before the line. So taking lap number 10, you can see how smooth he is being on the wheel, brake, throttle, handbrake as well. Through the whoops here into that little bit of a left-hander, carry the momentum all the way uphill. Pretty much a U-turn right there if you think about it. Oh, that was not lap 10. Never mind. I apologize. As, you know, this track looks fun. Thank you, Chris. He must have heard me talking in the booth and ended up giving us a little bit of a clearer view as he has caught the back of the pack of John Crane. Going to put him one lap down as now they are on lap number 10 up and over the hill, able to keep it all four on the ground. And Chris Hamilton trying to do something John Crane ended up wrecking there. We're going to go ahead and go back to a quick replay here, see exactly what happened. Go here, sorry about that. Whoop. Go to the last one. Going up and over the hill, just got a little, no, I wonder what happened to Mr. Crane here. Oh, just hit the front end down just a little bit too hard. Oh, and killed the wall. But look how close Chris Hamilton was to being involved into that one. John Crane ended up crashing again here. Going to see exactly what happened to this number 11 Gravedigger machine. Going to come up through the whoops. Oh, did the same thing that Aaron Smith did. And into the fence. Going to get it out of the way of Carl Handework as he's coming around. And John Crane is not having a good night out here, as he has crashed again in the same spot. So, yep, never mind. I lied. It was the same thing. But anyways, that was our in-race shot of the number 64 machine. As looking back here, everybody's pretty much spread out. No big battles out here on track. We got 2 laps to go for Chris Hamilton. He's trying to double down on this win here tonight. Lock himself into the championship 4 and see if he just can't get that championship trophy. Chris Hamilton doing everything right as of right now. And, you know, it's definitely going to be a good race here as these guys are still battling it out pretty evenly. As Chris Hamilton has opened up a 2-second gap again on the number 87. Back down to 1.8 seconds. So still a couple laps to go. Anything can still happen as these guys are still trying to get through it. As we are on the final lap here, and Chris Hamilton is a man on the mission as we have another crash here. Going to see who it was. Oh, it looked like to be John Crane not having the night that he wants to have, as we're going to see exactly what happened. Oh no, now it's a real gravedigger. All he needs to do is get rid of the top of the truck and the doors. And then we got nothing but a skeleton on that number 11 machine. As Chris Hamilton Thad Marshall has closed this gap down to 1.2. It was 2 seconds, then it went up to 1.8, and now it's down to 1.2. So Thaddeus Marshall trying to show his speed here late in the game, not able to do so, as Chris Hamilton is going to pick up the win here. Whoop, sorry about that, everybody. Give me one quick second. As Thad Marshall is going to pick up P number 2. Aaron Smith, P number 3. Chris Hamilton is your race winner. Those are your top 3. 4th is Carl Handwerk. 5th, John Nobinger. 6th, Kevin Foster. 7th, Jimmy Covert. 8th, Brandon Metler. 9th, Paul Butler. And 10th, John Crane. We'll go ahead and put this in a different camera view for you guys here. As we will go to give you guys a chopper view of these guys going around here. While we do that, we'll go ahead and bring in our 3rd place finisher of Mr. Aaron Smith. Aaron Smith, this is Dylan in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I've got you.
All right, buddy. Well, in the heat race, you started dead last. Not sure what happened in your qualifying run. Not sure if you maybe had a slowdown, or maybe if you got into the wall, but you had to start from the back and work your way up to P number 4. And that was kind of a struggle in itself, as you had John Crane in front of you do a whole barrel roll while you went underneath him and was able to snag a P4 in your first heat.
Yeah, I kind of messed up my qualifying lap. Both of my laps were fast enough to get the pole, but I touched the little dirt embankment there going into the last corner, and it gave me a 0x for whatever reason. So had to work my way up after that, and had a little bit of trouble in the main event where I spun out on those whoops. But every lap after that was the quickest on the track. So I wish I had a few more laps there to catch up to Chris, but it was a fun race overall.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, you know, being up here in the booth, it actually looked pretty fun from where I was sitting. It wouldn't be fun if I was out there on track, because I just know how I am, especially on dirt road. But, you know, you started P4 for the feature, ended up coming up to P number 3. Do you think maybe if you didn't have that spinning out issue, do you think you could have caught Chris Hamilton, even though it was only 12 laps? Do you think you could have had Chris Hamilton give him a run for his money?
Oh yeah, I mean once the track wore out about halfway through and I'd spun out, I was gaining about at least half a second on him a lap. I ended up, I think I was about 9 seconds, 10 seconds behind him after I spun. I closed it back down to about 6. So had a pretty good run there toward the end of the race, just ran out of time.
Yeah, I mean, you know, these races don't really last long. It's, you know, again, it's not where you start, it's always where you finish. And, you know, starting off playoff round number 2 with a top 3. You can't really be too mad about yourself. And, you take the Silver Crowns next week to Homestead Oval. I know you're a good Oval guy, but how do you feel about the Silver Crowns?
I don't know. I've never raced them before, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But pretty good at where is it? Homestead?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm
sir.
pretty good there, so it should be a solid race.
All right, Aaron. Well, before we let you get on out of here and enjoy the rest of your night, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the folks at the Core Racing League putting the show on, youth broadcasting, all the folks watching. Looking forward to getting back at it at Homestead next week.
All right, Aaron. Well, we will talk to you again next week, and you have yourself a good night.
All right, thank you.
All right, that was our third place finisher. Going to go ahead and move up our second place finisher, Thad Marshall, bringing it home to P number 2. Had a good run in the heat. Qualified pretty well, just made sure that you kept it clean, especially even in the heat race. Started, I believe, third, as I guess position or track position it was more of a where you wanted to be at, as you were able to pull away from the rest of the field and try to hunt down Chris Hamilton. You were doing well there for a minute, took it from 2 seconds down to 1.8, and then inevitably all the way down to 1.2, but just ran out of time.
Yeah, unfortunately, about halfway through that race, like I did get a slowdown, so I was trying to take that off and try to keep pace with Chris. And heat race, I was just seeing how everybody else was going to run. I just tried to keep it as clean as possible. I mean, still going to be aggressive, but just got to be careful about how I do it. And then start of the feature, I hit the gas, and I guess Carl was sleeping a little bit, and managed to get by him and just made Chris stay on us the entire race.
Yeah, it was a really good battle to watch. I mean, even though you had a little bit of a slowdown, I think you were pressuring Chris Hamilton into a mistake. I mean, if you didn't have that slowdown, I think you could have gotten right to his back bumper and tried to force him into a mistake, and you possibly could have walked away with the win. But with that slowdown happening, it kind of killed your race from then on. But if you had maybe a couple more laps, I think we would have had one hell of a fight to the finish.
Oh yeah, I think if we had at least 2 or 3 more laps, I could have got back to him. And Aaron was coming quick too, so it could have been a 3-way car battle for the lead. But I'm happy with P2 finishing behind Chris. I mean, he's a big rallycross off-road truck guy, and so is Aaron. So finishing P2 between them two, I'm not going to complain one bit.
Oh yeah, I mean that's like you're a big dirt guy, and it would be a win for Aaron Smith or Chris Hamilton to come in and beat you on what you know best. It just for you to come out here and finish one position ahead of Aaron Smith, but one position behind Chris Hamilton, like you said, that's a win in itself. And I mean, I'd call it a win in myself if I could finish that good on anything other than oval. So you know, next week, we're back on the oval side. Not dirt though, but we're in the sprint car. What are they called? I just said the name of them.
The Silver Crown.
Yeah, Silver Crown. Hey, thank you. We're it's Silver Crown at Homestead. Are you looking forward to that race? Or are you just trying to just hope for the best?
I mean, at this point, I pretty much shot myself in the foot for the wild card position. So I mean, if I got to do well enough in these last 2 races to finish in top 4, but I mean, I feel like it's gonna be who knows the car the best, who knows the track best. I mean, I've raced Homestead a few times. I've never touched a Silver Crown car in my life. Really didn't even practice for tonight. Honestly, I didn't even know if I was gonna show up tonight. I was just messaging Nobinger and Paul Butler a few times this week saying how I really wasn't happy with how things were going, but made the decision to come out and be aggressive, but not super aggressive. So here we are.
Yeah, I mean, P2 here tonight. You did get the win in the first round of playoffs to lock you into the second round at I-55. And, there's no more dirt oval on the track, but 2 more ovals. And that's something that you got to be a little bit proud of as, you've been working on your oval stuff and, You know, hopefully we get to see Thaddeus Marshall up here in the booth again in these next coming weeks. But without further ado, if you have any shout outs you want to give, now is your time.
I'd like to thank good old Matt George over at Hood Up Motorsports. He actually sold me his V3 pedals because mine crapped out last week. Guys over at CFM Esports, Dylan, you for putting on this broadcast, Core for putting on this series, and then my family for watching, my wife for always supporting me in all this and letting me do this every weekend.
Yeah, me and you were in the same boat. I finally got rid of the sticky pedals and I went to some V3s, and I'm not looking back. So now we're kind of on the same level here, but I still need a little bit of a tutoring session from you in dirt.
Well, hopefully I'll have that chance if I make top 4 because we do got the big blocks in Knoxville. So
Yeah, that's definitely going to be one for the record books. Well, Thad, we're going to go ahead and let you get on out here, hang out with the wife and the rest of the family, and we'll see you again next Sunday.
all right, sounds good.
All right, sir. All right, that was our second place finisher, Thad Marshall. Going to bring up our race winner here, Christopher Hamilton. This is Dylan in the booth. Got a copy.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, Chris. It seems like if I'm not racing you, I'm talking to you, and vice versa. We just can't seem to get away from each other, no matter what we're
Be
doing.
careful what you say there. Careful
Yeah,
what you say.
yeah. Nobody forgot. Anyways, kind of walk us through how tonight went. I know you sponsored this race. I know you picked the track. I know you picked the truck, and it just shows. You love. It looked like you just loved this track. You were pulling a Jean Girard, drinking tea, jumping your truck, and getting through these corners.
Yeah, I don't get to drive these trucks too often as often as you think I do. This season or this year has been all a bunch of turning left. So to be coming back to the roots and doing something that's a little bit out there. I know it's not the easiest combo. I will be the first to admit that. But yeah, it's always a pleasure to come back to home.
Yeah, I mean, it was still a good race all in all. I mean, there in the heat race, you missed it, but I caught a good glimpse of it. Aaron Smith started dead last, hit the bank in turn 1, I believe he said, didn't get to post a qualifying time. But John Crane did a whole barrel roll over Aaron Smith, and Aaron Smith was able to get out of there with no incident points or anything like that, I do believe. And I think that was a highlight of the heat race, but you just put on a dominant fashion heat race win. You led all 4 laps, and then the feature race came down to it, and it was just you and Thad on another world out there. As Thad would pull up about a tenth and a half of you, or 1.5 second to you, and then just kind of drop back. Then he got that slowdown penalty that kind of ruined his chances. But I mean, did you feel the pressure from the number 87?
I knew he was there. He kept me honest the whole race. Like I would glance back and I would see that he was still there, and then try to put down some laps. And I was actually going slower each lap. There was like a 116 and then 116.4, then 116.8, then 117, 117.4. So I wasn't as consistent as I would like have been, and I was just slowly getting slower as the race went on. But in the end, just kind of kept it consistent, not trying to make too big of mistakes. I think the biggest mistake, I almost threw it away, but other than that, just tried to just kept it clean, and yeah, on to the championship round.
Yeah, I mean, I believe with this win, it did lock you into the championship 4, and big congratulations. It is a hard fought battle all season long, and next week you got Silver Crowns at Homestead. You are kind of an oval guy. I think we need to rip that sticker off. But
Charles did that months ago. He did that seasons ago.
well, I'm pretty sure I seen on that back of the yellow and black number 64 Ford Thunderbird, not an oval guy, or kind of oval guy on the back bumper there. I'm not really sure. Don't really get to see a lot of you. Just road courses and dirt, which I know you're looking forward to. But Silver Crown and Homestead, is that a track combo you're looking forward to, or are you just ready to get to the championship?
We'll take it one step at a time. I don't have to worry as much since I am locked in, but I'll still definitely be out there playing spoiler a little bit, having a good time.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully you did get tonight locked in because, night after that you got that dreaded plate race at the end of the season before championship night. So a little bit of weight lifted off your shoulders, and now we're going to see kind of a different Christopher Hamilton, but not a different Christopher Hamilton, as you're still going to go out there and try to spoil these guys' wins and try to wrap up the season with a win, as anything can happen out here. But before we let you get on out of here, is there any shout outs you would like to give?
Just huge shout out to Ryan McCauley. He does a fantastic job painting each and every week here on the Core Racing Network. If you guys want me to get in touch with him, you want to paint for you, definitely hook you up. Huge shout out to Met Motorsports for coming on board. Always a huge supporter of veterans and doing fun motorsport related things. So reach out for your local Vet Motorsports affiliate near you. And thank you for the broadcast. Always appreciate it, Dylan.
All right, Chris. Well, we'll be seeing you again, hopefully in a couple of weeks. Well, we'll see you every Sunday, but maybe in a couple of weeks for the dirt race in the vintage cars. And I can't wait for it to show, so you can show me how to get around Bristol Dirt finally. And then, it's on to championship racing.
Yep. Here's to it.
All right, buddy. Take care.
You too.
All right, that was our race winner of Christopher Hamilton. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a rundown here as our final standings. Get it pulled up here as I show it. Christopher Hamilton coming out with the win. Thaddeus Marshall in second. Aaron Smith in third. Carl Handwerk in fourth. John Nobinger in fifth. Kevin Foster in sixth. Jimmy Covert in seventh. Brandon Metler in 8th, Paul Butler in 9th, and John Crane rounding out your top 10. That's going to do it here tonight on the racetrack at Bark River for the Core Racing Series Premier Series, I should say. Tomorrow night we have the GT cars. You're going to see Jimmy Covert, Carl Handwerk, and Mark Thomas all in the booth as they give you a little bit of a podcast race, I guess you could possibly say, as they're all going to be inside the car racing. And then Tuesday night you're going to have myself and Abhi Vishuvasam in the booth as ARCA tackles the short tracks again as they go to Myrtle Beach and Nashville Fairgrounds. That's going to be a race. Those are going to be races you don't want to miss. And then later that night, after the first race, you're going to see Carl and Jimmy back at the booth for the UCRL Man Cave Truck League, or After Dark League, as they get ready to settle up on the playoffs, or maybe they're already in the playoffs, not 100% sure. And then after that, we got Wednesday, no broadcast, and then Thursday, we'll have the 87s as they get ready to tackle the Pocono. I'm going to be down on the track along with Carl Handwerk. Jimmy and Abhi Vishuvasam is going to call the action for that race. And then Friday and Saturday, no broadcast on those 2 days. And then I'll be back in the booth on Sunday for the Premier Series as they tackle Homestead and the Silver Crowns. Without further ado, guys, this has been fun and another good broadcast. Make sure you guys take care. Brush your hair.